Hi everybody. Let's talk about Russian and Ukrainian military spending from the beginning of the full-scale invasion till today. Can we predict who is going to win the war based on military spending? Can we predict future based on trends in last 3 years? Can we predict what can be done for the Ukrainians to win the war? Well, let's analyze the data. Ukrainian government military spending was $41 billion in 2022 according to the World Bank data, and Russian government military spending increased by $40 billion from 2021 expenditures. So, for this analysis, I'm going to calculate only Russian expenditures on top of the average 2021 amounts. In 2023, Ukraine was spending $65 billion and Russia was spending $46 billion. In 2024, Ukraine was spending $65 billion and Russia was spending $86 billion. Interestingly, Ukraine total spending for these 3 years was $171 billion and Russian was $172 billion. So the result is 1-1. No winner and no loser. Europe and Ukraine increased military production in these 3 years for minimum $20 billion. Only take into account BEA Systems United Kingdom increase in revenues, Rheinmetall Germany, Thales France, Ukrainian defense industry, Poland defense industry, PGZ, Finanzieri Italy, and Quinetki United Kingdom. Russia increased military production for $20 billion in their state-owned company Rostec. Rostec holds 80% of all government military orders for the special military operation. Rostec is holding of more than 800 companies with more than 60% military production and less than 40% civilian production for pharmaceutical products and equipment like COVID ventilators and vaccines. Transport production like Kamaz trucks and railway wagons. Energy equipment like gas turbines for electricity production and so on. Pre-war, they had 590,000 workers and now they have 660,000 workers, an increase of more than 70,000 employees. And they are working in 3 shifts, especially in Ural Vagon Zavod, where they paint and grease all tanks and send them to the front. They produce more than 600 new tanks every year. So the result is 1-1, no winner, no loser. And now the hard part. Ukraine received $139 billion of military aid in equipment and ammunition, according to the Kiel Institute Aid Tracker, and Russians have old, big, bad Soviet stockpiles of equipment and ammunition. So, is this enough or not? Let's make some assumptions based on the trend so far. Europe has increased military spending according to the European Defense Agency and European Commission for more than $145 billion in 2022, 2023 and 2024 combined in comparison to 2021 military spending. And they gave Ukraine $3 billion worth of military aid in January and February this year. So we can assume that they will give at least $18 billion military aid this year. Europe has also achieved 1 million shell production in Poland and Germany and plan to increase it to 2 million shell productions this year, 2025. And this is, in my calculation, equivalent to Russian imports of military equipment and ammunition from North Korea and a discontinued export of military equipment and ammunition and rerouting it to Ukrainian front, all total to some $6.5 billion according to the World Bank data. So, if I'm an optimist and thinking that Ukrainians already destroyed 90% of Soviet stockpiles, then this $18 billion is the minimum necessary to deplete rest of Soviet stockpiles in the rest of 2025, and then Ukraine can achieve victory and liberation of all of occupied territories. And if I'm a pessimist and thinking that Ukrainians already destroyed only 60% of Soviet stockpiles, then maximum more amount needed is $93 billion and another 3 years of war before Ukraine can achieve victory and liberation of all of occupied territories. But Europe can give Ukraine more than $20 billion of military aid per year? Or US can pitch in? Or something else? What do you think? What are your solutions? Write in the comment below and see you in the next video.